Hey, family. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the African Ancestry Experience, where we discuss how we as Black people view ourselves and Africa. Tonight, we are talking to Dometi Pongo. He is an award-winning journalist. He's the host of the hit MTV series True Life Crime, and he hosted the VH1 Lineage to Legacy. I know you all saw that. He's going to be sharing his experience on the show and how he helps diasporans explore their ancestral lineages. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned because I want to know you.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia. I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia. I wanna know ya.
All my people are in the building tonight. What's up, King Joseph, Chris, Robert, I Am Vote. What's up, I Am Vote? I'm so happy to see you guys. Angel, Deja, Millie. I'm seeing some new names. Lala. What's up? Hey, Vicky, Hazel Cherry in the house. I'm so glad to be here with you all tonight. I know most of you all were with us on Monday. That was a blast. Have you all been enjoying the new African Ancestry Experience? You know, we're all about sharing identity-focused conversations on here with the African diaspora, tracing your DNA, finding your roots, exploring more about who you are. Thank you for being here. Look, I always have to tell y'all how to get started. You know, I say get a test kit. But we do have some free tools that you can use. So make sure that you check us out. Check out our blog, like, share, subscribe. Turn on those notifications so that you won't miss a single episode. Where else are you going to get what you get from us here at AfricanAncestry.com on African Ancestry, the African Ancestry Experience? I never get tired of saying those two words, African Ancestry, African Ancestry. Oh my goodness. So, you know, we give away swag every week to the first person who joins us on the hour. And so tonight's winner gets a Remember Who You Are study guide. This is one of my favorite things that we have in our arsenal of tools. It's an interactive guide. It has all kinds of QR codes in there, timelines, videos. Our Remember Who You Are poem is in it. I love this book. So the winner gets this book, this study guide, and I hope that you enjoy sharing it with other folks, your friends, your family. Chimakalu 41, congratulations. So email us your mailing address to info@africanancestry.com. And we will get you your study guide. And you guys can go get the study guide over on AfricanAncestry.com. It's there, along with a lot of other gifts under $50. So I want you to take advantage of all that we have to offer. Listen, so you all saw, I want to see some emojis, maybe a television emoji. I don't know what emoji. I want to see some emojis in the chat if you saw VH1's Lineage to Legacy. I want to see some emojis if you saw me on there sharing the ancestries of the cast of Love and Hip Hop. I have a really good friend. We've been friends since we were 5 years old. She called me today. She's like, Gina, Love and Hip Hop is my guilty pleasure. Shout out to Robin Hudson. Love and Hip Hop is my guilty pleasure. And I turned it on and I was like, oh my God, it's my best friend with my favorite people. She was all hyped. It was a thank you. Yeah, I know y'all saw it because you all are our people. So part of that show, what took place in this beautiful house, I don't know, we'll get the scoop. I don't know if it was a mansion or what. And the host was Dometi Pongo. Now, I didn't get to meet him because his shoots were on a different day than my shoots, but he agreed to join me tonight so we can get all the scoop on what happened when I wasn't there, and I can give him the scoop on what happened when he wasn't there. I already told you what he does for VH1, plus some other stuff that's not even on here. He's an entrepreneur. He's a speaker. He's an international speaker. He's award-winning as a journalist. I want you all to put some microphones. You know how we do. Don't let me down. We welcome in a new family member to the tribe. Give it up for Dometi Pongo. Woo, 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 woo.
If that wasn't the best intro ever, I don't know what is. Thank you so much, Dr. Gina. It's so good to see you.
You are quite welcome. Listen.
Thank you.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
I'm Black and proud and grateful. How are you tonight?
Black, blessed, and highly favored.
Well, there you go. That makes us a great team.
That's right. That's right. It's funny too. I love how you note that we shot on different days, because it's almost eerie watching the show back and seeing how much synergy there was between the information you were giving and the little tidbits I was imparting as I asked questions about their experience. And it's so crucial, because I only spoke for just a few seconds in some moments, and you would say something right in the next segment that expounded upon the idea. So it was just a privilege to be a part of this experience with you in particular. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And we have to give it up for Andrew, who's the director, because he's the one who put all that together. Because I had no idea even what was going to happen. I don't even think they had figured out for real, what was going to happen in the house when I
think that is true. That's such the beautiful thing too about reality TV, because you have a plan, but you just hope it goes according to the outline that you've got. And so you're right. He pieced it together. Andrew Huang, thank you for everything you did to make this show a success. It was beautiful.
Yeah, he was dope. Okay, but we're getting ahead. So see, Dometi.
Yes.
Look.
Okay. Look, I'm not used to sitting on this side, so let me.
I got instructions. I got a plan.
Okay.
So we start off by asking, exploring your identity. So I would like for you to finish this sentence. I am what?
I am the son of Kojo Tita Pongo and Ya Bwajo Pongo. I am the uncle to 6 beautiful nephews and nieces, and I'm a Black man who loves his people.
That's who he is. And that's so beautiful, because we get to be whoever we want to be. And I love that you have your family in there, you have your community in there, you have all sorts of things that people might not say at first when identifying who you are. But when we say your name, that tells us who you are off the break. So tell the people what your name means.
Oh man, Dometi means the backbone or pillar of the family. It's an Ewe name. Both my parents come from the Volta region. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. My middle name is Agleze. I don't often even say my middle name in public, but my middle name is Agleze, which means it literally translates to an old pot, and like an old cooking pot. And my dad says it is this old pot, these menial things that end up being the thing that feeds the family. So it's kind of a name about an underdog who feeds his family. And my last name Pongo literally means workhorse. It was a surname that my great grandfather took on after his relatives had passed away, and he took care of his family. And so it's only a few generations old, but that's what my name means.
Listen, it's a beautiful name, but it's a heavy name.
That's right.
How does that make you feel? Like when you're describing what the name means, do you feel all that responsibility in each of those names, or is it you've had it all your life, so it's not something that's top of mind?
No, it's definitely the former, not the latter. I feel I like explaining it because I don't explain what my name means often, but it's a reminder. It's almost an affirmation. Almost every time I say my name, it's an affirmation, but saying what it means is an affirmation. And it reminds me of what my purpose is. And even before I knew what it meant, there's this Tupac quote, and I'm sure you've seen it, where Tupac talks about, being Tupac Amari Shakur. And his mom says, he credits Afeni Shakur's mom for giving him that name, because he says, when you have an unusual name, you got to say it twice, the second time with more passion and emphasis, to make sure people are saying it correctly. And so even as a first grader before I fully knew what all of those words mean. When you get taught those things and the teacher is saying your name wrong, there's a different type of assertiveness and confidence you have to have in order to say, no, my name is Dometi, and yeah, so I feel every time I explain it, the weight of it hits me differently. And that's why I love explaining it every time.
I have a friend who used to he was obsessed with names, and he used to ask everybody he met, what does your name mean? At first I was like, why is I always asking people what their name means? These people don't know what their names mean, but it made me aware of the importance of knowing what your name means. And so I actually appreciate him for that now. And I appreciate you for sharing your name with us. It certainly gives us pause and food for thought when we're thinking about changing our names, or as we're bringing new life into the world and thinking about what names to give them. I want you all to use Dometi as an example of the importance and the power in a name. Now, you mentioned being a first grader growing up in Chicago, and I, in my African ancestry experience, have talked to countless African parents who are frustrated because their kids don't know anything about their home country. And the parents seem to miss the fact that they had
it's their responsibility to teach it
over that, right?
Yeah.
I met one of your countrymen he grew up in the Bronx, and his family's Ghanaian. He said that as soon as they crossed the door coming into the house, they were in Ghana.
Wow.
And then when they went outside, they could be in the Bronx, but in the house, they were in Ghana. So what was your experience growing up in Chicago with Ghanaian parents?
Everything in my house was Ghanaian except for language. And I often ask my mom, I got two older sisters, and it's funny, it almost diminishes our understanding of the language with each sibling. So my oldest sister speaks Ewe the best and understands it the best, and then so on from there. And we ask our parents, like, why didn't y'all teach us? And my mom, she says it's one of her biggest regrets, but she thought she had a mentor, another family member, my mom and dad, who told them, like, no, if you teach the kids too many languages, they're going to school in America, they're going to get confused. And she said, the bank, and saw a Mexican mom talking to her son in Spanish. And the kid was speaking back fluently and translating to the bank teller in English. And she was like, these kids aren't going, they're sponges. They're not going to get confused, But for whatever reason, and I give my parents credit, because it is very difficult, to teach the language, to have the patience. If I don't know if you guys got grandmamas that try to teach you how to cook, they never give you steps. They just say, watch me.
Right.
And then do what I did. They never tell you measurements. They say, just sprinkle enough salt. You'll know, you'll feel it.
I hate that direction. Yeah, even other people do that. Not even grandparents. Right. People who can cook. They're like, oh, you'll know. Just feel it out.
Exactly. Wait a minute. The audio's going out for me. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I hope they can hear you. I'm having trouble hearing you right now.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? I can't hear you. I'm reading your lips right now.
Okay, well, work it out. Go ahead. Fix it.
I'll finish speaking, and I'm just going to try to figure this out simultaneously. I got a call while we were talking, and I think it did something to my phone. But at any rate, but my household customs, from the food we ate, whether it was wache, jollof rice, fufu and soup, kenke, all we ate was African food. The books that we read were African. The aesthetic that I brought to my apartments, all household items that it just was a part of who I was, and I got ingratiated with American culture through school and social life, etc. But my home was Ghanaian, and my goal now as an adult is to learn the language now. And
so can you hear me?
Oh no, I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna leave and come right back.
Go ahead. Okay, so while he gets his connection together, I want to know, how many of you guys saw Love and Hip Hop? I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see the responses. How many of you all saw Love and Hip Hop? And I'm curious as to what you thought about it. I see everybody in here. Monique Murphy's here, representing for Chicago. Avanti. Quabana said, I changed my name. Okay. Yakota. What's up, Yakota? Yakota changed his name, or not changed his name, but got a Sierra Leonean name. Zenobia, you saw both episodes. Okay. I think he's back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. Dr. Gina. Here's the irony. Here's the kindredness of the universe. That was my mom calling, who messed up my life. So her ears were burning somewhere, But yes.
So you said, as an adult, your goal is to learn Ewe or Tree? Ewe.
Both.
Okay.
Both. Ewe. And that was also the difficulty, because Tree is the language in the big city in Accra that most Akans speak, and Ashantis and everybody in that region speaks. And being from the Volta region, a lot of Ewe is in Accra, but mostly we're large and off into the Volta region. So Ewe is my family language, but Tree is when I go home. I'm usually in the city. So I would hope to learn both languages, but even growing up, the little that I know, and I still understand both, but it's just difficult to keep in tune with all these different languages.
Yeah, it's hard once you get older. It's just harder.
Yeah,
but you can do it. You can do it.
I will do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah.
So let's shift gears here, because while you were getting your acoustic straight, I asked people if they saw Love and Hip Hop, Lineage to Legacy, how they liked it. I'm getting all these loved it in the comments. Somebody said, "Hey to your mama."
Oh, thank you.
But I'm curious. I know how I got there, but how did you get connected to Lineage to Legacy? Because I think you were a great choice.
Thank you so much. You want the long spiritual version or the normal version?
The normal version, but sprinkle some spiritual in there.
Okay, perfect. So at the beginning of my media career, I was working for a Black-owned radio station that did this annual tour where they would take African Americans to other places in the world where the diaspora was. A lot of African Americans at that time in my immediate circle didn't know that outside of Africa, the largest area of Black folks is in Brazil. And so they would go to Brazil and go to visit different communities where there were a large population of Black folks. For the first time in a long time, they had planned this trip to Ghana. I was news director at the station at the time. I think I was about 26 years old. And they, I didn't have a big profile, but they knew I was from Ghana. And they pulled together this group of listeners to take them to Africa. So that's what I ended up doing. I organized these group tours for the past 4 years. And I set the intention back in 2016 that I would use my media, my platform, whatever it was I was doing work-wise. Part of my purpose would be to galvanize the African diaspora community, because I just growing up, I saw this rift. Fast forward, now this is the quick version. Fast forward to MTV News. Been at MTV since 2018. And I got a call from the talent rep, and they laid out the platform for the episode. It was the first time that I saw a platform like Love and Hip Hop mix this entertainment with education in this way. A show that spoke to my generation on a casual, urban, relatable level, but also delved into this purpose that I had. So I always felt like it was divine. I think it was God who put me in front of Mona Scott Young. Now, Mona would tell you when she got the name, she was like, "Who's Dometi Pongo? I ain't even heard of this guy. Like, I know he had MTV, but who is this guy?" And when we did the call, we just hit it off. And Mona told me that the basis for the show, how she'd been working on the concept for a few years, had finally gotten it greenlit. I told her what my passions were and how I'd approach the kickback segment that we decided to do. And the executives, Mona, and everybody just decided I was a fit, and ended up working out that way. So it was just a Skype call. But I really feel like God planted those seeds back in 2016.
And that is really a testimony, because for anybody who doesn't believe that when you set an intention, it can manifest, this is the perfect example of how that can happen. So, okay. So what was it like? Because you were familiar with Love and Hip Hop. I have to admit, I had never seen it. I didn't see it until the Sunday night before we shot. I was like, I guess I should see who these people are. But you said, this is your generation. This is your this is your field. These are people. Yeah. And so what did you expect? Like, what did you think when you walked in there and you were going to talk to them about their ancestry and then take them through all these other experiences.
Going back to manifestation, intention, speaking things into existence, the irony is when I did True Life Crime and I would do the press run, I also host True Life Crime, a true crime series on MTV. And when I do the press run, people would say, a lot of folks would ask, how are you processing all of this trauma? And usually when I got back to the hotel room, I would either read, do some chess puzzles just to unwind, or I would watch something I didn't have to use my brain for. And I don't say this in a negative sense, but that was Love and Hip Hop. And so I always gave the answer. It was on in the background. It was something that after listening to stories of pain and trauma, I could just watch and not have to think. I didn't really follow the storylines that closely, but I knew how I felt about different folks. I knew about what Remy went through being incarcerated and how Papoose held down and supported the family and statements he made, like when he went to visit Remy, how in the male prisons, women flooded the visiting lines, but for women, a lot of their men didn't come visit them and support them in the same way. So what it taught him about family. So through that, I knew what kind of brother he was. And from Remy, I knew the kind of pain that she had to deal with as a mother in that situation. And so Yandy, as a businesswoman, knowing what she dealt with and with her partner, what he went through. And so I knew these storylines kind of peripherally, but I never really, I wasn't one who followed the show with that level of intentionality. But what I thought it was so important was, I saw my friend Suzette Wright comment, youngest news director in the country. I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna hang my hat on that.
Hey, we'll take it.
We'll take it. And when I was working there, Chicago has a lot of urban radio stations that were mad popular. And I always felt that I wish, with me working at a talk radio station, I wish more of my generation were listening to these progressive conversations that our elders were having, right? And so when I got to Love and Hip Hop, I was hoping, since the youth is watching this, since impressionable minds are watching this, since this is where the Shade Room, Baller Alert, Hollywood Unlocked gets its content, I was excited, but both a little anxious about if I would get a chance to have the depth of the conversation I wanted to have and still give it that lighthearted feeling that made me fall in love with the show. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop to think, but I do know that there are moments that are regressive. There are moments where we're not represented in the best light. And I wanted to add context to that. So to answer your question, I was excited, but I was also nervous. And I was hoping that the value in our ancestry would be exhibited on the show,
Well, you did an excellent job, and you had a lot more, at least from what I could tell from the show, you had a lot more instances where there were comments that I didn't get that many off-color comments. I just got one or two, but you got some really off-color comments. But I think we're still, in line and not totally out of the box. But you've taken people to the continent and introduced people to new things. How was this different when you were introducing them to the food, when you were talking to them about their names? Was it different than what you normally do?
It was very, very similar. But I often, even when I take folks back to Ghana, I'm hoping that they feel the same connection and experience that I feel. We can't, this isn't a one side. I think one thing that I think you do well in our commentary, but I don't see done as well, like, doing when we were loving Black Panther, like just across the diaspora. Sometimes we romanticize Africa, right? And we assume that when everyone of African descent goes home, that they're going to feel the way we felt, and most of the time that's true. But every now and then there's not as deep a connection, or sometimes people might not feel as deep a connection to the country they're actually from. They might feel more at home when they're in South Africa because it's a little more Americanized. It might be more comfortable to them. It might be a way to wean them into African culture. And there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen because we have been taught so many negative things about our home. And so I was hoping that would shine through. And the interesting thing, just a little nugget too, we shot my part for episode 2 first. So I met Yandy, Papoose, Mama D, and Carly Red first. And they were really serious and intentional about what they learned about their ancestry and really passionate about it.
That's true. They were.
Yeah, they were, right?
Yeah.
And so I had this conversation with that group that I was like, oh, this is we here. You know, like this is, it's okay. God is good. I'm in the right space. And then with the second group, which ended up being episode 1, which is with Tokyo Vanity and Remy Ma, Rich Dollars, and Paris, it was fun and it was light. But early on, when I introduced myself and I just started talking about the power of names and how Western countries took our names from us as a way to dehumanize us and what that means. And I had just introduced myself. What up, y'all? I'm Dometi. And this is what I came in hot. And they were like, and so I realized the difference in the energy. And I'm not saying this in a negative way.
Yeah.
It was just the difference in the energy. And that was the group where, you know, when we had the off-color comments that actually made it fun, where, you know, Tokyo pulls out the big yam and she's like, this looks like a And so in real time, I was like, oh Lord, okay, how am I gonna reel this in? And then, but in watching it, it actually was the fun, the color, and the commentary that we need, because you know, when we're so passionate about this work, sometimes we can get really, really serious about it. But the fun is where the exchange happens, and the food is where that happens. And little did I know was that Dr. Page was doing the heavy lifting on the education part. So I could have fun and just eat and dance. And I don't need to say all of that.
Look, anytime you need me to roll, set the tone and do the heavy lifting, you just let me know. I got you. I feel like you're my I was trying to think of how to describe this. It's like you're my little brother, twin, generational twin. Like you're like
twin,
half, but in another generation.
The Robin to your Batman, the Shuri to your T'Challa, however you want to put it. That's what I'm here for. Sis.
I love it. I love it. So listen, there's so many. I'm not even paying attention to the time, Dometi. I'm not a professional like you. Let me make sure that I'm.
Time is a construct. I am here for as long as you will have me.
I know. I just don't want Wendy to get mad at me. Shout out to Wendy Cherry, who's our producer. Tomorrow she'll be like, and Gina, we were supposed to. She's smiling, so we're good. So okay. So I've been wanting to ask you about this. So you have a company called Sankofa Ventures. And I know that through Sankofa Ventures, you're taking people from the diaspora home to Africa.
Yes. Actually, company is owned by Pastor Bishop Lance and Lanice Thomas Flagg, and I partner with Sankofa Ventures.
Okay,
those are my friends. What's mine is theirs, and what theirs is mine. Okay. But yes,
shout absolutely. Out to the owners and your partners in Sankofa Ventures. So, how many Black folks would you say approximately you've taken home?
69 Black folks and 1 white woman.
Okay.
Over 4 years, yeah.
There's always one. So, okay. So, did you go to Ghana with a group during the year of the return?
I did not actually. Wait, that is false. I went in February of 2019, but not in December when most people had gone. And I didn't, yeah.
Because that was my setup. Okay. So I'm curious about, have you seen attitudes change over the time that you've been taking people back? Because I feel like there's been a shift. And I'm wondering if you've seen that shift and in what ways.
Oh, without a doubt. It's interesting too, because, you know, I could say it to you, you know, this is when I knew, right? Like, I'm going to go on a slight tangent, but follow me.
That's okay.
This is when there are a lot of, especially in movement work, whether I don't want to name organizations, but I've seen it, I've covered activist movements. There's a lot of ego that goes into movement work, because in the platform comes the gratification of the adulation of the crowd, the cheers, the heightened profile. And I always wanted to tell myself that I was in it for the people for real, right? I don't care about that. And it's easy to say that and to tell yourself that, but you don't really know what your character is until you're confronted with opposition to it. And you have to be that, right? Say that to say, in 2016, the first year we went, a lot of the listeners to WVON were elderly folks, were our elders.
Oh, that's where you were, WVON?
Yeah.
I went to WVON. Cliff Kelly We revealed him on there. When Roland was on there, we revealed him on there.
You thought I was just talking. When I said I've known of you for years,
Oh.
I've known of you since I've been news director since 2013, but I was the morning news anchor. So I was never there when you'd come because Flip Kelly was our afternoon host. But Dr. Gina Page is a legend in the halls of WVON.
Oh my goodness.
You know, this is no exaggeration, no hyperbole. Like you are, and do you know Linnell Harris by chance?
We've never met in person.
In person, okay, but he's somebody I partner with who I've done a couple of trips with, a good friend of mine.
Back to the story.
Yes. But it was hard to get young people to come on a trip is the point. And there was a lot of elderly folks who had already, this has been their lifelong dream. So I had 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds who had never been to Ghana or Africa. And they were like, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it was beautiful. But I also wanted to impart this to my generation. And it was difficult. You know, I got a lot of ignorant questions about what Africa was like. Should you come? I don't know. I'm going to Jamaica this year. I don't know about that. I'm going to Europe. I want to backpack across Europe. Nobody wanted to come. 2019, I had gotten, I got tired of doing the trip. I started working at MTV News, and I started Pongo Strategy Group, was getting a lot of projects. It was too much going on. I didn't want to do the trip, but I was excited about the year of return. Well, I said the earlier thing about, you know, not wanting adulation about it. All of the people who had said no to me for the past 4 years about going were now excited to go because Boris Cujo and Steve Harvey and all these big celebrities had gone. And instead of saying, okay, I'm going to move my whole calendar and just go, I follow spirit. I need to be in New York at that time. Here are some resources. Go with this person. This person is going, etc. I just want you to get the knowledge. And so I have seen the attitude change. I've seen the interest change. And I've also learned about the power of celebrity and entertainment and galvanizing our people. You know, it frustrates me sometimes, but it also is powerful to know the tools that we have. And so, you know, I've seen the attitude shift.
You really are my little brother, soulmate / whatever. We're gonna come up with a term. If you all have some ideas of how I can describe Dometi, you see our relationship here. Put it in the chat. We'll
put it in there.
Now, but I agree with you so much. So we've started take our African ancestry family reunions, and we've been in Sierra Leone, where you may not know, they give citizenship now based on African ancestry or based on genetic ancestry tests, but so far ours is the only one. So the President Bio is handing passports. Wendy got one, handing passports to people who are DNA descendants. And now other countries, we're talking to Senegal, we're talking to Cameroon, all these countries want to repeat or duplicate the year of return. And what they don't understand is, one, Ghana had all those celebrities. And two, they had 400 years. Like, it coincided perfectly with
the 1619, the 2019. It was, yeah.
You couldn't have planned it any better. So
and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the 1619 project, Nicole Hannah Jones's project. Also, just synergistically, it was just a whole universal, it was just a culmination.
Yeah. And Black Panther kicked it off, I think. So Black Panther in 2018, and then we rolled into 2019. And I also wanted to, I don't even know why I said all that. I'm so excited to be talking with you. I'm just talking. But the other thing you said was about, how some people don't have that experience that we hope.
That we hope they'll have. Yeah.
And I think it depends on why you go. If you're going to turn up and you're going because everybody else is going, you may not make it outside of Accra. You might not make it outside of East Legon or where that other area. It's not like where all the Osu. You might not make it out of Osu, right? And so you're only going to have the experience that you would have in any other city and miss a lot of the cultural. So it just depends, I think, on why you decide to go.
That's right. And I think I've learned a lot about the power of meeting folks where they are. Even the tone that I use in my stories on Need to Know is if I'm ever wagging a finger or reprimanding my people, I always use we. and not y'all. You know, and I think that even in only going to Ghana for the turn up, it is great to see that Africa and Ghana has shifted from a place of charity to a place that is a tourist destination. Folks didn't even know they had clubs in Africa. I grew up with people, you know, asking me questions about, do we eat lions? And, you know, are there really flies? Or it's really ignorant. I don't even want to preach some of the things that people said to me. So there is some power, even though it's a very surface level experience, there is some power in them being able to go to Osu and kick it and say, yo, this is more lit than Atlanta. Yeah. So now when you go back, hopefully they get a chance to visit Cape Coast and Elmina and really get the actual experience.
Yeah. So now you work for a big corporation and you're on the air and you have these different shows that you're hosting and you're representing us well. We're very proud of you, Dometi. Let's talk about DEI, because I know that that's important to you. And I know that you host something within, I don't know, MTV Entertainment within the corporation called Culture Club. I have been talking to so many corporations, employee resource groups, all sorts of things this month. This has been our today. I actually spoke to 4 different groups, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Today, 4.
Wow.
But
wow.
What are some of the things that you think? Because a lot of people who are watching this, who are on our family members, they work in organizations, they work in corporations. What for you are some of the ways that employees can drive change in an organization culturally, outside of Black History Month, outside of Juneteenth? What are you seeing people do?
A little background context too. At MTV Entertainment Group, they always had Culture Club. They had, of course, the ERG groups within the organization, employee resource groups. And what really happened with the pandemic, things came to a head. There was an angst. You had the pandemic, and then you had George Floyd being killed. There was just this cloud over New York City, over the country, but just speaking about New York, over New York City, over the company. And when you're making shows that don't speak to what's really important, there was like, you know, the company could feel the employees feeling like, okay, what work can I do that matters? And so they began to have these courageous conversations, they called them. Big shouts out to the president of the MTV Entertainment Group, Chris McCarthy, and he tapped me and had me lead some of these moderation panels. And after a minute, I had just become that voice company-wide within the MTV Entertainment Group, you know, the 1,000+ employees, where we're talking about real conversations about race. And I told them the only way I'll be able to do it is if I can be real. And, you know, don't like, I would do like we had a pre-call when we did our call, and I'll let you know where I'm going and how conversations we're having. And going back to what we can do as employees, I think often Black folks, because we are so used to being cut off at the knees, we don't push the envelope enough. I have been in rooms where other Black folks have, my first set of locks, it was another Black man who told me I needed to cut my locks if I want to be successful, you know, or it was other Black folks who would tell me, you know, if I didn't, not to negotiate my salary, just to be in the news media, just be happy, because so many people aren't really getting, you know, members of prestigious Black journalist organizations were saying, just be happy you got a job in this climate. You know, you don't rock the boat by negotiating your salary.
You young whippersnappers, you just don't listen to your elders. You
exactly. That was the energy. and so I would say, first and foremost, you know, as the older, you know, generation, which I'm about to start including myself in that, remember that what worked for me won't work for the generation coming behind me, and to empower them to go to into these rooms with power. So if you're at a company, you want to have a DEI conversation, can't be timid when you begin the conversation. I'm not saying come in there with your kufi, but you know, you go in there knowing what you want to come out of that experience, instead of coming into a negotiating thinking, damn, what am I only going to be able to get from this? Like, they may only give me this, so let me start here. No, negotiations start at 50 so you can land on 40. You know, you don't go in starting at 40, because then you're only going to get 30. That's just.
Do you go in, when you go in, are you taking your Dometi, I don't remember how to pronounce your middle name, Pongo self? Like, because one of the things we are telling people is you feel totally different once you know who you are, once you know where you're from. So do you walk in there with your Ghanaian self? Are you walking in there with your American self, or is there a difference?
There is. I remember I was explaining to someone that I don't know if we, you know, how people say I'm finding myself. I don't know if we find ourselves or if we already know exactly who we are and we're just trying to figure out how to communicate it, right? Like most of the time, deep down, intrinsically, you know what you want to do. You know what your purpose is. You might have an inkling of what it might be, but the world, little by little, sheds those different things away. And so I'll go in those rooms knowing who I am, but thinking about how can I communicate it to get to who I need to get to this person. Like I speak with the relaxed tongue on Love and Hip Hop that I don't use when I'm reporting on Need to Know, but it's all the same tone of voice, you know? So when I go in those rooms, I'm unapologetically myself, but I'm also speaking the language that I know the executives will understand and be able to receive. So it is a balancing act. And so I don't want to give this false portrayal like I walk in the room just, here's what we're going to do. But I say, here's what we're going to do. It's the same message, the exact same thing, but it's just a different way of getting what you need, you know.
Listen, you're bringing back memories. When my first job in corporate America, there was a brother who was I was doing sales training, and I was having some difficulty with the older white guy who was my training manager. And there was a brother who was high up in sales, and he said to me, Gina, sometimes you have to flex your style to fit the situation. He said that to me in 1992, and I have never forgotten that. And that's exactly what you just described. You're not changing who you are. You're not changing what you want. You're not changing how you ask. You're not changing what you're asking for. You're just tweaking the way you ask for it.
I'm going to remember what he said too. That is such a succinct, pointed way of saying it. And I think a lot of times when we talk about allies and allyship, we think about it in terms of like, you know, social allies or, you know, from a social justice framework. But sometimes an ally means, let me figure out what it is that I genuinely connect with already that this person might connect with, right? Whether that's a piece of pop culture that this white person might connect with, what it is, so I can relate to them genuinely. You know, if I don't like golf, and I know I think Black folks should learn how to play golf, yes, but we're not going to force ourselves to enjoy a hobby that we don't enjoy. So if this guy doesn't play golf, what does he do? He's like, what is he like, beers? Okay, I can get into beers. We can do that. I can have a beer with you. You know, what is it? We can play a game of chess. What books? Let me look at his LinkedIn page. What is he interested in? Where has he worked before? What are some of our touch points that I already authentically connect with that allows us to relate as human beings? So that when I say, hey, I had an uncomfortable situation on the set. I don't know if these are microaggressions or not, but I just want you to talk to Kathy and let her know that made me uncomfortable. Is that cool, brother? You know, and is that cool, bro? My guy that I have drinks with, and it's a genuine connection. And so it's no longer like I'm begging for allyship or asking for help. I'm asking a work friend to step up on behalf of his friend, and he has to go to his white counterpart and figure out why Dometi is having this problem that he doesn't have on other sets. And so that's kind of like that kind of thing. And I think those are the soft skills that, you know, mentors have taught me, but that I feel like we don't share enough, and that it often comes in a way that makes us feel like we have to deny who we are in order to fit in and conform. You don't have to. We cool already. They want to be us already. We're already cool. You just have to find a way to communicate the cool in a non-threatening way. And then when you get where you want to go, then I can talk openly about the things that I do on this, and it's fine because I have that relationship. So it's not gonna happen out the gate. But like you said, you know, flex your style. What'd you say? Say the quote one more time so I can remember it.
Sometimes you have to flex your style to fit the situation.
To fit the situation. that ain't a gym, I don't know what is.
It sure is. We have gone all over the place. We end up talking about allies. That's the first time we talked about allies here on the African Ancestry Experience. Thank you, Dometi, for broadening our horizons. Now, what's next for you?
Oh man, my overarching goal is, I don't know if I want to.
Okay,
I'm gonna do. Right. No, I'm the small version. Well, I want to sell content. I want to sell content and own intellectual property. And I think that oftentimes, we ask for a seat at the table, but we don't often ask for the cut of the pie that we're truly worth. And so my next goal is to sell IP that allows me to create opportunities for Black creatives coming behind me. And I also, in the future, will continue to do more content that reaches and teaches the masses. And I hope to be patient with myself and my people and getting this information out there, and just stretching my intention in my own small little way. It was only a few people that I was able to take back home, but I have the faith in God to say that I feel like I was one of the drops in the bucket that helped to create this tidal wave, behind the work that, similarly to the work that you have been doing, that Chadwick Boseman chose to uplift in several interviews as he promoted Black Panther, God rest his soul. And so it's like what you have been doing helped to pave the way for what I'm doing. And we had never even met, even though we graced the same spaces. And so I hope to be that for folks coming behind me. So that's the goal.
You know why we're able to do that, you and I, because we're doing the ancestors' work. We're acknowledging the ancestors every step of the way. And it's not us doing it. You already said that. It's not really us doing it. We're just doing what we've been selected and chosen to do. So I welcome you on this journey. And how can we support you, everybody? He's on Instagram. Wendy can put up Instagram. How else can we support you?
On Twitter. This is my plea. On Twitter. I'm also on Instagram as well, but I host this show called Need to Know. We do 5-minute video essays about different pop culture topics and about the intersection between pop culture and social justice work. Today's story was about Cardi B talking about Ukraine, Russia. If those stories resonate, watch them. If they resonate, feel free to share them, retweet them, share them across folks. We don't have a marketing budget for this show, but we've been doing it for the past 3 years and doing what I feel is compelling work. We won awards for this work, National Association of Black Journalists, Synopsis Awards, Associated Black Press Awards, but it's all about, I want more people to, I wanted to touch the masses. I wanted to touch and hit more people. And so that would definitely help me, because I think, and we've said this before, Gina, in one of our conversations on Culture Club, I think we said this, or maybe it was Karen Hunter. We're gonna have to.
Or maybe it was. I mean, we just kick it.
We're kicking that. We kick it. I can't remember where we said this, but we said it somewhere. That the networks believe that Black folk don't like smart things, right? Don't like smart content, and I don't believe that, because I sit in barbershops where that's all we do is talk about intelligent commentary. I won't delve into the narrative. I won't feed into the narrative that Black fathers have no interest in taking care of their kids, because I don't know any deadbeat fathers in my age range, in my universe. They don't exist in my circle. And so we talk about, we give each other parenting tips. Like, these are I don't even have kids, and dudes with kids are telling me, hey, what you need to do. I don't have kids, brother. Why you keep telling me about your daughters? And so, all of these types of things. So I know there's an appetite for this. And so the more we retweet and support these shows, the more we open the door for more content like this to be made. And so just support it, keep retweeting it, keep watching it, because all these networks know his numbers sometimes.
What is it? Is it at Need to Know? What is the handle?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my handle is at Dometi_, and my pinned tweet is usually the Need to Know show. My pinned tweet right now might be the advertisement for this, but also follow MTV News. And the pinned tweet on MTV News on Twitter, MTV NEWS, is usually Need to Know. It's always Need to Know. So it's myself and my colleague Yoon Kim, who is a phenomenal journalist as well. Her stories, celebrate and support her stories as well. But yeah, just MTV News, follow it, retweet those.
So everybody right now, pull out your phone Go to Twitter.
That's right.
And follow at Dometi _ You know how we do here. We support our guests. He's part of the African Ancestry family. I already told y'all he's my little brother, something or other. So go right now to Twitter and follow at Dometi _ and then follow MTV News. And we need to know pops up. Like it, share it, retweet it, whatever. I don't know all that stuff.
Comment if I say something that got you heated. Disagree with me. Push me if there's an idea you don't agree with.
Okay,
if something you love, talk about it.
Roxanne has done it. Tony has done it. Angel has done it. Who else has done it? I am Vote. Did you do it? I want to. Bridget, have you done it? Philip did it. Who else has done
Carol.
it? I can't do it because I'm talking, but I'm going to do it afterwards. Damone, did you do it? Zenobia, you've been loving him all night. I want you to do it. Tony C, let's go, let's go, let's go. I want him to see how many extra followers he has in the African Ancestry family. Okay, listen, we are so off this thing. We play a game every week called Fact or Wack.
Okay.
So I would like for you to join us. These are statements, and our family in the comments, they have to say whether it's fact or whack.
Okay.
So you read the statement, and then they're going to put in the comments whether it's fact or whack, and then Wendy will tell us what's true.
And do I guess too?
Yeah, you can guess too. Because you haven't seen them, so you don't know. Okay, right. Let's go. First, fact or whack.
Okay, we celebrate Black History Month in February because it is the shortest month of the year. Fact or whack?
Fact or whack, y'all. Fact or whack. It's okay if you're still following him on Twitter. That's okay. But for those of you, Robert followed you. Okay, fact or whack. Are we celebrating Black History Month in February because it's the shortest month of the year? You're all fired if you get this wrong. The whole family is fired if you get this one wrong.
Right. This is whack.
Wendy, is this fact or whack? That was so easy. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Carter G. Woodson wanted it to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, yes. Number 2.
All right. The Black population in the United States is estimated at 30 million today. Fact or whack?
Now, Dometi, did you know that we've impacted over 1 million Black folks so far?
Come on.
1 million Black folks. So we're only scraping if this answer, whether it's fact or whack, we're only scraping the tip of the iceberg. So you guys, after you finish following him on Twitter, you need to like and share African Ancestry and on YouTube and all that other stuff. Okay, go ahead.
This is what I believe this is a fact. But what is so interesting about these numbers is who gets counted in the census. Is it like, are we counting our incarcerated brothers and sisters? Are we counting folks who haven't filled out the census and things like that? So I believe this is a fact, but I also believe that this number might be understated if it is a fact.
Okay, we got factish. We got we got whack. We got a mix. So what's the answer? Is this fact or whack?
Let's see. Whack. Oh, okay. What's the answer? According to the 2019 census, there are more than 46 million Black folks in the U.S. Okay, that sounds more like it.
Shout out to Hassani Carter. If we had a prize, you would have won. You were the closest without going over. Yeah, and this is why we need to fill out the census, you all. Very important point that Dometi raises. If we're not allowing ourselves to be counted in the census, then your future generations won't be able to find you when they're doing genealogy research, and we don't get the resources we need. Okay, I think we have another one.
Okay. AfricanAncestry.com only sells one small strand of the DNA samples of our customers. Fact or whack? Now, I can't answer this because I know the answer to this one. Fact or whack, y'all? What say you?
I think the family, anybody who doesn't answer this right is going to get fired too. I hate to fire family while you come to visit. Okay. All right, keep it coming. That's right. Okay. Shout out to Zenobia. She's done followed you. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Somebody said whackety whack. Somebody said whacker than whack. Absolutely. This is two whacks.
Yes. Never, ever. Period.
Drop the mic on that. Dometi Pongo. It has been a joy. I can't imagine spending my 5th conversation of the day with anybody but you. And I'm so glad we didn't even talk about Mushadai. We talked about Mona. There's so much we didn't talk about trauma. You have to come back. So,
I was just gonna say, you know what that means? You know, I gotta come. I'm your sister. I'm your brother from another mother.
That's
my
right.
sister from another mister.
That's right.
I will be back if you will have me. I love this so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I know you traveled. You did some traveling to get here to make it with us tonight. So I appreciate you making the effort. Listen, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Don't forget to read our blog posts on Black History is African History. We've got another post on 19 facts about African ancestry at africanancestry.com/blog or blog/news. You can also take the Find Your Tribe quiz to see which ethnic group you might have the most in common with. We got all sorts of fun things. You can catch past episodes of the African Ancestry Experience on YouTube. Dometi, I have to tell you, Monday night, we celebrated our 21st anniversary. And so my business partner, Rick Kittles, co-founder, was on, and it was a laugh fest all night. He's my baby daddy. We have a 19-year-old. And so he's my baby daddy. If you're watching us on the replay, put the mic emoji in the comments for our brother Dometi so we know that you were here. We're going to be back here on Wednesday at our regular time. Thanks for rocking with us at 8:30 tonight Eastern. But we'll be back next week at 7 for a special reveal of Queen Afua.
Ooh.
Yes. Afua has traced her African ancestry and I will be revealing that on our show on Wednesday. So you don't want to miss that. Dometi, again, thank you so much. When we hang up, I'm gonna go follow you on Twitter and retweet to my 6 followers.
Yeah, right. This was a phenomenal experience. Thank you for the work that you are doing, ancestry work. You're doing work on behalf of the Creator, and I'm humbled to be in your cipher. So thank you for having me this evening. It's meant a lot to me. Thank you.
It is my honor as well. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Remember, until we meet again, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be whole. Have a very good night.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia. I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia. I wanna